The Venice Film Festival gets underway today. It's in its 79th edition and it is the oldest international film festival around the world and arguably one of the most important considering its proven track record for premiering future Oscar contenders. Well, to talk more about what we should be keeping our eyes on, I'm joined now by David Moricand from Euronews Culture. All right, David, so what are the films that we're going to be talking about for the rest of the year then?
There are quite a lot of them, and the jury helmed by Julianne Moore this year are going to have their hands full because it's a very, very impressive lineup of films. Obviously, there's Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe biopic, which is one of the most eagerly anticipated titles of the year, and we'll see whether the buzz around it materialises and if it manages to break the tiresome biopic blueprint. What else have we got? We've got Olivia Wilde's psychological thriller Don't Worry Darling, which stars Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, and the behind-the-scenes drama there has been slightly overshadowing the film, specifically Harry Styles' American accent, which has been heavily lambasted online. But considering there are no COVID restrictions this year in Venice, so we can expect that the arrival of Harry Styles will provoke quite a few reactions on the red carpet. Speaking of heartthrobs, there's the new film by Luca Guadagnino called Bones and All, which stars Timothée Chalamet, who plays a young cannibal in love, so that's something to look forward to.
Wow.
Yeah, and otherwise there are films from Joanna Hogg, Laura Poitras, and also Darren Aronofsky, who has the film The Whale, which stars Brendan Fraser as a reclusive teacher who suffers from severe obesity, who tries to reconnect with his estranged daughter, and even before anyone's seen it, it is one of the most talked about performances of the year so far. But by and large, one title which is really being talked about is the film No Bears by Jafar Panahi. This is the Iranian filmmaker who was sentenced to 6 years in jail in July. And during the press conference, the festival artistic director Alberto Barbera said that festivals weren't just about the glitz, the glamour and the red carpet, but more about being a window open to the world. And he also expressed the festival's support at Iranian directors being persecuted in their own countries. And No Bears, we don't really know much about it, apart from the fact that it's a political thriller that follows two parallel love stories. But already it is being touted as a potential contender for the Golden Lion this year. And if it doesn't win, it's already great that we are lucky enough to be seeing a film from a voice that refuses to be silenced.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have to say there's rarely a film festival that goes by without any kind of controversy. Have we got any yet?
There's a few. Well, I mean, we could mention the fact that only 5 out of the 23 titles in competition are only made by female directors. So that's a number that hasn't really moved in the past years, and the gender representation there is not great. And one thing which makes this depressing statistic even more depressing is that Alberto Barbera saw it fit to include in competition a film called Call of God, which is the last film by late South Korean director Kim Ki-duk, the director behind Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring and One on One. And Kim Ki-duk was accused during his living of sexual misconduct and rape. And this inclusion reignites the never-ending debate about whether we can and should separate the art from the artist. And in an interview with Hollywood Reporter, Barbera stated that they faced similar criticisms 2 years ago when Venice showed the new Roman Polanski film at the time, An Officer and a Gentleman. And Barbera in this interview also went on to cite the example of Caravaggio, the Italian painter who was also a murderer, and that doesn't stop us from enjoying his work. So a bit of a tone-deaf comment on his part there, but especially because that competition slot could have been filled by any other director, and potentially even a female director. But no, apparently not. So there we go. But hopefully the rest of the lineup will more than make up for that slightly damaging inclusion.
Well, David, I know that you'll be watching all of the movies for us so that we only have to watch the good ones, of course. So David Moricand from Euronews Culture, as ever, great to have you on set to chat everything Venice Film Festival.